Welcome back to this Let's Play of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Last time we got a lightsaber, finally. I picked a double-bladed one because I only have the one available and I have the two weapon feats. So I want to be able to use both hands with just the one weapon. Eventually I'm going to switch to using two lightsabers. There's really sort of three options if you're going to be a lightsaber user. You can use a single lightsaber, just sort of the way it happens in the movies, and really the only advantage to that is that it's sort of the classic appearance. There's a dueling feat, which gives you a plus to attack and defense and damage if you're using a single one-handed weapon, but it's almost never as good as having two weapons. The second option is to use two sabers, one in each hand, which is what I'll eventually do, and that will give you essentially more slots to put items into. It doesn't actually do as much damage as a double-bladed saber. The double-bladed sabers do, by default, 2 to 24 damage. The single-bladed sabers do 2 to 20, and short sabers do 2 to 16. Now, that will essentially be overwritten by the damage from upgrades and all of that, so it's not real important as far as base damage goes, but the only disadvantage the double-bladed sabers have is that their critical threat range is smaller. I have a crystal that gives this keen, but it's still that's what the base ones are for the single blade. For most characters, it really just doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you're using essentially two or a double blade. There's one minor option which is very rarely useful, but if you have things like some of the better single-handed melee weapons, you can use a melee weapon in your main hand and a lightsaber in your offhand and still have sort of all the blaster bolt deflection crystal options, but still have that better melee weapon. I don't end up doing that, though it is a viable option. There are a couple melee weapons that are good enough to want to do that with. Anyway, we got all the parts for our lightsaber, and we also picked up all the parts for something else, which is this damaged AK unit. HK unit, sorry. It is not an AK-47, it's an HK-47. And with a little bit of repair skill, we just sort of throw all the parts in.
Diagnostic. HK-47 activated. Running checks through primary systems. Assessment. It appears I have suffered considerable damage and dismemberment. I can feel all the cracks in my motivators. And my central control cluster seems to have taken several repeated blaster shots at close range. How crude.
I think that's supposed to be how rude, but, it's HK-47. And, you can point out he looks a lot like a series of droids that have attacked us.
Answer. Oh, that is impossible, Master. If I were out to kill you, we would not be speaking. And regardless, I am a unique model. Why, to think that there would be other versions of me would be unacceptable.
Okay, and we can point out there's at least 4 other... Actually, because of the restored content, there are 7 other defunct versions of him so far.
Statement. Master, I must inform you that your attempts at humor are wasted on a droid such as I. As I have expressed, I am unique.
And you can sort of press the point.
Resignation. Very well, Master. If you persist in your attempts at humor, I shall indulge you. Let me check the ship's records, and we will settle this matter once and for all. Conclusion. You speak the truth. This discovery is also causing me some degree of anger and humiliation. Mockery. Am I all right? Oh, yes, Master. Why, I am fine. Statement. I've only just been reactivated, only to find that there are substandard duplicates of me running all over the galaxy, corroding my good name. But if they are in fact hunting you, then I look forward to the opportunity to meet these units and educate them in proper assassination protocols. Conclusion. So it seems I need you, for the time being.
Okay, and assassin droid.
Recitation. Yes, as I said, I am an assassin droid. It is my primary function to burn holes through meat bags that you wish removed from the galaxy. Master, oh, how I hate that term.
And, we won't go into the whole meat bag thing. Suffice to say, there's some humor in that from the first game, but he just calls fleshy things meat bags. Just have to get used to it, I guess. However, as a light side character, we're maybe not so thrilled with the idea of an assassin droid.
Answer. Well, I am not certain I like the idea of a master who feels reservations at having an assassination droid at their disposal. In fact, it brings with it a certain sense of dread that you may actually not use me to my full capabilities.
I'm actually not going to use him that much, though we are going to spend some time doing some things just to make him happy. At any rate, the last question here, are you ready to serve me, droid?
Answer. Yes, Master. HK-47 is ready to serve.
Alright then, droid, make me a sandwich. But, for the next conversation, I may not actually get to it in this episode, but we have a conversation where we need a T3M4 to be present. HK-47 starts at level 6, and I will have to level him up. One of the problems with him, the reason why he's not really all that great a character, is he does not get very many feats, and for a ranged attack type character, you need to have a lot of feats. At any rate, I want to gain some influence with him, and I want to gain that influence early, because most of that influence is going to involve me getting dark side points. And I want to be a sort of full light side power by the end of the game, so I will take the sort of alignment hits early rather than later, so that I don't end up at the end of the game not getting mastery bonuses and such. Maybe not that important, but it's worth doing.
Statement. Master, I must express some degree of concern. As I have studied your actions, looking for potential vulnerabilities to exploit, I have found several. Statement. You seem disposed to helping others, not harming them, as I have come to expect and anticipate from organic meatbags across the galaxy.
Okay, well, that's nice.
Statement. Master, if you could indulge me for a moment, I must express some degree of irritation at your actions. Perhaps my anticipation of working with one who served at Malachor 5 was too high, but you are countering all those expectations. Statement. Well, all your behavior up to this point suggests either strong atonement or confirmation that the atrocities attributed to you during the war were in fact accidents.
And, you can sort of defend your actions during the war as sort of necessary evils.
Answer. Why? Because your actions then and now are related, and I feel I need some context. I confess to being somewhat needy that way. Statement. Sometimes, Master, it is difficult for meatbags to step back and gain some perspective on death and its importance in their insignificant lives. Explanation. You see, Master, assassination is such a versatile tool. I have seen the removal of a single target have far-reaching consequences for a nation, world, even a galaxy. The repercussions of even the smallest lives, whether dead or alive, can have profound implications on history. But surely you realize this.
And we'll point out that's a very human perspective.
Statement. Master, please, any comparisons between me and your meatbag status leaves a fluctuating, intermittent charge through my control clusters. I was only trying to bring death and its impact to your attention. Statement. Why your own life, Master? Your single life changed the face of the galaxy, of history itself. Malachor 5 was an impressive act of destruction, but its impact on the lives of others in the galaxy was far more extreme. I mean, Master, you brought about the death of the Mandalorian race. I doubt they realize it yet, but you dealt them a blow from which they will never recover.
And, there's a variety of things here, but We could just say that they deserved it.
Statement. Oh, Master, who deserved what and why is of no consequence. It is only killing a target and how it is done that matters.
Yeah, we're going to hear that sound a couple times in the next episode or so as we try to gain influence with HK-47.
Query. Is there someone that you need killed, Master? Statement. Ah, you wish to conduct an interrogation? Very well. Proceed.
We just want to ask you some questions.
Statement. Very well, Master. But if you wish to be brutal and vicious about it, know that I am trained for such things. Do your worst.
Okay. He, essentially is hard to convince, and you need to explicitly spell out to him that, you're going to ask questions without torturing him.
Statement. Master, I am no behavior droid, but it is obvious to me that you have serious ethical problems that will need to be treated at some point. Very well. Ask your questions. If you feel the need to make it an interrogation, however, do not restrain yourself. I would be saddened if you held back.
Anyway, there are a variety of options here, and a lot of this is just sort of background, and we'll come across it, or actually there's some of these conversations we'll have with him later once we've gained a little more influence with him. But this one about asking about the Sith hunting us is important for the restoration, for restored content.
Answer. No, Master, I do not. I am afraid I have been out of touch with the Sith for many years. This new Sith threat fights differently than the ones I was familiar with. These seem to favor stealth and assassination to achieve their ends.
Alright. And you can sort of ask him if he knows where they might be coming from.
Answer. No, Master. The Sith had many hidden bases and strongholds before and during the Jedi Civil War, and I doubt the Republic found them all. Theory. It is possible that the Sith still hold one such base, if not several. Consolation. But I would not worry, Master. I imagine it will not be long before their murderous hands try to seize you by the throat. Twi'lek metaphor. Jonta bosilikita masisorinkada utamiyasa grauinorutu.
And I don't think a Twi'lek ever says that particular statement, but he's talking about Krek beetles, and you can say, well, Krek beetles are a lot smaller than our enemies.
Query. Master, excuse me. One thing I have noticed as we travel the galaxy, you seem to possess the ability to understand a variety of alien languages. Forgive me, but that does not seem in keeping with my assessment of your talents.
And apparently our tape recorder, this sonic imprint sensor we picked up on Paragus, actually doubles as a translator.
Query. May I see it? Observation. This is indeed familiar. Indeed, it seems to be modeled after my vocabulator, with some modifications, of course. Curious. You say you obtained this device on Paragus.
And, it's sort of, you have to pick up that item. There's no way to get through that particular area without using that item, so... Actually, I wonder if you can destroy the console and never pick up the sonic imprint sensor. I might have to try that. Anyway, we can tell him that we picked it up shortly before the planet was destroyed.
Observation. Master, I do believe this device serves multiple functions, including tracking your position for any HK units in the vicinity.
Alright, well, let's just get rid of it then.
Objection. Master, they do not know we have discovered it, which means the advantage is ours. Statement. I suspect when the time is right, this device can be used to pinpoint the location of the HK factory, and we can deal with them once and for all.
Okay, well, and we just wait?
Answer. Master, the nature of the signal from the sonic imprint sensor is such that we must wait until it is signaled. It does not please me any more than it does you, but one of the primary traits of an assassin or assassin droid is patience.
And what's different now is previously you could have that exact same conversation, but now there's an entry in your journal for a quest finding the HK factory. So we'll see if we can find that. We also gained a level from the XP there, so... At any rate, I'll leave the next conversation that involves T3 till the next episode. See you then.